My sister called me at 6 in the morning screaming that something was wrong with Dad. I was out of bed before I was fully awake, pulling on jeans, grabbing my keys. She wasn't making sense. Just kept saying I needed to come home right now. Something happened. She didn't know what to do. I lived 20 minutes away but made it in 12. Ran every red light. My hands were shaking on the wheel. The whole drive, my mind was spinning through worst-case scenarios. Dad collapsing, Dad unconscious, Dad not breathing. He'd been complaining about chest pain last week, but waved it off as heartburn. Refused to see a doctor like he refused everything that involved admitting he wasn't invincible. When I pulled up, Andrea was sitting on the front porch, 17 years old and crying so hard she couldn't breathe properly. Her whole body shaking. Where's Dad? Inside, the bathroom. He won't answer. I pushed past her and ran upstairs, my legs heavy with dread. The bathroom door was closed. I knocked hard, the sound echoing down the hallway. Dad? Nothing. Dad, it's me. Open up. Still nothing. My throat tightened. I tried the handle, but it was locked. I pressed my ear against the door and heard water running. The sink, maybe. A steady stream that had been going for God knows how long. But no other sound. No movement. No response. How long has he been in there? My voice came out sharper than I meant it. I don't know. I woke up and heard the water and he wouldn't answer when I knocked. I kept knocking, Caleb. I knocked for so long. Her voice broke. My mind went to the worst places immediately. Like a heart attack, stroke, an aneurysm, and him collapsed on the tile floor while water just ran and ran. Dad, I'm breaking down this door if you don't answer me right now. I waited 5 seconds that felt like 5 minutes. Nothing. Not a sound. I stepped back, my heart slamming against my ribs, adrenaline making everything harsher. I kicked just below the handle. The frame cracked but held. Behind me, I heard Andrea gasp. I kicked again, harder, putting everything into it. The door burst inward with a splintering crash, and I stumbled into the bathroom, already bracing myself for what I'd find. Dad was standing at the sink in his bathrobe, completely fine, brushing his teeth. He turned and looked at me with foam around his mouth, then looked at the broken door hanging off its hinges, then back at me. What the hell? You didn't answer. My heart was still hammering. Andrea said you wouldn't answer. I'm brushing my teeth. For half an hour? I just got in here. Andrea appeared in the doorway behind me. Her face was red and confused. But I knocked. I knocked so many times. Dad rinsed his mouth and spit. I didn't hear any knocking. I was knocking for 20 minutes. I would have heard that. Then I noticed. On the counter next to the sink, Dad's earbuds. The noise-canceling ones we'd gotten him for Christmas because he complained about Mom's morning TV shows being too loud. Dad, were you wearing those? He picked up the earbuds, looked at them like he'd never seen them before. I was listening to a podcast while brushing your teeth with the door locked and noise-canceling earbuds in. He looked at me for a solid minute before saying, "It's a long podcast." Andrea made a sound that was half laugh, half sob. "I thought you were dead." "I'm clearly not dead. I called 911, she said quietly. "You what?" "I called them and then called Caleb because I panicked and hung up and I didn't know what to do." Right on cue, we heard sirens getting closer. Dad closed his eyes. Oh, for God's sake. 2 paramedics came through the front door that Andrea had left open, ran upstairs, found the 3 of us standing in the bathroom around a broken door, found Dad in perfect health holding his toothbrush. The older paramedic looked at the door, looked at Dad, looked at me. "Is everyone okay here?" "False alarm," I said. He was wearing earbuds. Didn't hear us. The paramedic nodded slowly. "You broke down the door." I thought it was an emergency. They made Dad sit down anyway, checked his vitals, asked him questions, made sure he wasn't having a stroke or altered mental state. The whole time, Dad sat there looking annoyed while Andrea and I tried not to look at each other. After they left, Dad stood in the bathroom doorway and stared at the damage. The frame was splintered. The door wouldn't close anymore. The lock mechanism was dangling by screws. "This is coming out of your half of the inheritance," he told me. "You scared us." I was brushing my teeth. Mom came home an hour later, saw the door, made us explain the whole thing 3 times. Then she started laughing and couldn't stop. That night at dinner, she announced the new rule. No locking bathroom doors, ever, for anyone. "That's insane," I said. Is it? Is it more insane than kicking down a door because someone was brushing their teeth?" She had a point. What we didn't know until months later was that Dad had locked himself in that same bathroom the week before while wearing the earbuds. Mom had knocked for 15 minutes before he heard her. She'd been scared too. Didn't tell anyone. She was just waiting for the right moment to make the rule stick.